Hey guys, Moshe the Electric Israeli. Recently I made 1,500 plus miles road trip to Quebec City, me and my wife and I put it in 2 videos, and people were messaging me, can we, it's hard to see one and then you go to that. Why don't you put it in one video? So for you, I'm re-uploading this video again in one shot, so you can see the whole thing continuously and enjoy. There's a lot of stuff there about autopilot, places we went, recommendations, a lot of supercharging speeds and all that stuff, places you can go. You enjoy it. Thank you guys. Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, this is Moshe the Electric Israeli, and with me Beth the Electric Israela, and we are on our way to Quebec City in Canada, in the Quebec province. Did you brush on your French? Parlez-vous français? Oui, oui. Alright, so we're going on our 8th road trip. We have in the trunk, we have the spare tire and the charging cable. In the front, we have all the tire related stuff, the jack and everything else. In case, God forbid, something happened, we got a couple suitcases. And most importantly, honey, listen to this. We have no children with us. One is in Europe, one is in camp working, and everybody's having fun, and it's going to be us for a week. It's going to be a week-long trip. We're going to have a stop in upstate New York for charging, and then one outside of Montreal, and then we'll go to Quebec. It's around 1,200 plus miles, but I think it's going to be more when all said and done. I give you the numbers already. This has already happened. While I'm speaking, the trip is over. And we are going to go travel around Quebec. Then we're going to go, where are we going after that? Burlington, Vermont. And then we're going, don't tell me, we're going to Portland, Maine. Is that true? We're going to have a wonderful trip going all around the upper East Coast into Canada. We're taking the car to a new to a foreign country, right? With a language we don't even speak. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. So we're going to test supercharging speeds in Canada, in upstate New York. We're going to check the supercharging speeds in Canada, in upstate New York, see if they do get 140 kilowatt of charging. We're going to test the watt hour per mile in this on this trip, now that the weather is really warm. 80 to 90 degrees is going to be this week in this area, and of course we have nothing to drag. We are just us, so we'll see what happens, and we'll take you with us. So I hope you will enjoy. Stay with us, do not leave, because we need company. So I'll see you in the first stop. Alright, the Electric Israelis are back with you. Here's one. Having fun, honey?
Great time.
On our anniversary?
Yep.
We are driving around in our anniversary. Anyway, we'll celebrate tonight. Okay, so as you recall, we started the battery when we left home was 287 rated miles, and then we have 82 rated miles left. We're about 10 miles away from our Supercharger, Queensbury in upstate New York. So we used we drove 193 miles. So we used 205 miles, rated miles, to go 193 miles. So 12 miles more than what we needed, which came out to 94%? Yeah. 94% efficiency. So we used 46 kilowatt hour of battery and 235 watt hour per mile. Okay, 35 watt hour per mile, that's what we use. A little bit high, but I can tell you it's 90 degrees most of the time. Average speed was about 75 to 80 miles most of the time. Also, we drove with obviously air conditioning full blast. So my takeaway from this trip, for many others, is that this is a no compromise car. You drive highway speeds, you can put the climate control, air conditioning, heat, whatever it is that you need without any hesitations whatsoever. Most of the trip was on autopilot, navigate on autopilot. Since the last update, sometime when we just go on adaptive cruise control, if you veer to the left, to the right, the car will bring you back, force you back physically, force you back into the lane. It's a very good feature, so you don't drift away from your lane. And I can tell you that me using the cruise control the autopilot for most of the trip, it tells you how much it was improved since 8 months ago when we bought the car, when it was not that good at all. So now it's just fabulous. So we're going to the Supercharger. I'm going to charge. I'm going to record the charging speed so we can see how much, what is the rate that we are going to get. And we'll have a lunch, and then you lady take over, and our next stop is going to be in Montreal. Where are we going to be, honey? Montreal, what is it called? I can't see.
That's the New York one.
That's in
Brossard
in Quebec province. We're going to be there around 4 or 9. So we will travel this lake. We traveled 203 miles. It's great. And then we'll have another 3 hours or so of driving, and then from there we get to Quebec. All right, see you at the Supercharger. All right, we just left the first Supercharger. Tell me again the name.
Queensbury.
I can't remember nothing. And we are going to, we charged for for exactly 20 minutes, and we gained around 190 miles or so. At the beginning we got 145 kilowatt of range, but just for 5 minutes, literally for 5 minutes, and then it went down to about 100 and down to 70-ish most of the time. But in 20 minutes we got in 5 minutes before we got a warning: leave or else you're going to be charged with idling fee. So we left. So we have now rated miles of 252. We have 161 miles, which is 2 hours and 28, but we're gonna need to consider the border crossing, and we have a new chauffeur, chauffeurette, and she's gonna take this leg while I will be texting and watching videos and all that good stuff. So it was very nice stuff. It's a big mall, huh?
It's a small mall, but there's a Target.
Yeah, there's a Target. I have to have a Target. There's a Target and all that. It was everything that you need for a bathroom, rest, and all that. So by the time you finish and eat, the car is ready. The car is waiting for you. Okay, I see you at the other side of the border. On the New York Thruway and the electric Israela, look at that. She is driving on autopilot for the first time. Believe it or not.
Yes, I am.
What do you think?
I I like it. I was wary of it, but I like the cruise control, the adaptive cruise control so much that I figured I'd give it a try. And we're on open stretches here.
All right, do your first lane change.
Okay.
All right, ready? It happened. It's happening. Look at that. The electric Israela she did a lane change. How does it feel?
Okay, that's not. It's very cool. Very cool and very, it's like safety and comfort and
right.
all that. So,
okay.
I like it very much.
You like it, I know. All right, so just a minute. Let me take this. So we are 107 miles from our destination. Look at her, the pro
there
now.
There I go again.
She's a pro, baby. 107 miles. We'll be there at 4:28. It's across the border in Montreal area. We'll stop there and then we'll charge again. I wonder if we get 145 kilowatt in Canada. I hope so. Okay, see you soon, guys. All right, at the Canadian border, that was quick. I mean, there's very little traffic.
Saint Bernard-le-Lac.
Saint Bernard-le-Lac crossing. And after we cross the border, we will be how many? 24 miles? No, 33 miles away. So you know what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do is we're gonna move everything to kilometers, honey. You need to.
I don't know kilometers.
I know kilometers. Okay, so let me show you. Here we go. So we're gonna hold on. Sorry. So we're gonna go to look at that, kilometers and Celsius. We're in Canada. So
that's exciting.
So we have 153 kilometers on the thing, and we are 54 kilometers away from our destination.
Should I change lanes maybe?
And look at this. You can change lane. Go ahead. We consumed 171 watt hour per kilometer, which is about 277 watt hour per mile. How do I know? Because I looked it up before. I'm not that genius, don't worry. And we traveled 208 kilometers since we last time we charged. So we'll do kilometers for the French part, s'il vous plaît. Oh, sorry. S'il vous plaît, and then we'll take it from there. So I won't bore you with this part of the trip because we're just crossing the border. Okay, updates at the Supercharger. Okay, guys, we traveled 260 kilometers using 44 kilowatt hours in this leg, 168 watt hours per kilometer. Like I said, it's about 270-ish kilowatt hour per mile, which is high. Getting closer to the Boulevard de something, the Critère, where the Supercharger is. We're gonna supercharge the Tesla in a foreign land in Canada. And let's take a look what we did so far. No, here it is. This is what we want. 588.9 kilometers, 91 kilowatt hour of energy, and 155 watt hour per kilometers. We'll do all the translations later to miles. Okay, let's see how much charge we get in this one. Okay, we are done supercharging
onto Boulevard du Quartier.
at Boulevard du Quartier. If you ever come here, the navigation will tell you that you're there, but you don't see anything because it's underground. So you have to go around into the left into the underground, and that's how you're gonna find it. Here's another Tesla looking where the Supercharger is, and they're gonna do what we did, drive around until they find it. Sorry. Okay, so that was like the fastest supercharging rate I ever got in history of Teslas. That was 145 kilowatt, 1,000 kilometers per hour for about 10 minutes or so, and then it went down to 135 for 930 kilometers per hour. Anyway, we're here for like about 25 minutes. We now got 408 kilometers, and our destination is in 261 kilometers. It's right outside of Quebec City, so we will be there at 7:45. Tonight we will supercharge there tonight for about 15 or so minutes. So tomorrow we'll have the car available all day long, so we don't have to worry about supercharging or anything like that. We can have the car for a week until we get out of here. Okay, I'll see you at Quebec. Parlez-vous? Okay, one of the things I want to show you, we are now navigate on autopilot in a construction zone in Quebec, towards Quebec City. And one of the things that we realized, I mean, I knew it from before and I thought it would be a little bit better. It does not recognize the speed limit of the construction zone. In other words, you see it still says 100 kilometers per hour, even though right there, if you see, point the camera right there, if you see, it says 70 kilometers. So both in the United States and in Canada doesn't recognize. Now, it did give me a note before, says construction zone detected, navigate on autopilot is limited. So he knows that the car knows that we are in a construction zone, but it's more depending on you rather than depending on itself. So it alerts you. At one point we had to go to the other side of the highway for like 5 miles almost, and the car was completely confused, didn't know what to do. All right, here it says finito. Okay, starting the third day of our trip, we are leaving Quebec City. The electric Israel is the driver. So we've been here for 2 nights, 1 full day, 2 very nice evenings. So we were very lucky last night in our hotel. What's the name of our hotel? La Concorde?
Le Concorde.
Le Concorde. Highly recommended. We really highly recommend Le Concorde. They have wonderful underground parking, and they have 2 spots of EV parking on level G3. It's the bottom level, spots 11 and 12 if you're interested. You have to pay for the parking no matter what, if you're not, but it's free EV. You can charge your car for free, and we charge the whole thing. I got 482 kilometers, which translate to 299 miles. We're back to miles. That's it. We live in France. I mean, Quebec. So we charge it for free. So we now on the way to Burlington, 212 miles, 3 hours and 44 minutes. Got to cross the border as well. Going to Burlington. We'll be there for 1 night, I believe, right tonight, and tomorrow we'll spend the day and go headed towards Maine, Portland, Maine. As you see from this picture, Tesla Model 3s, and this is not unique to this one, told them it's a mosquito magnet. Okay, the car is absolutely schmutzed to the brim.
It's fine. You just can't have anything on your car.
I don't need your advice, lady. Okay, it is schmutz to the brim. Oh, you stop. Anyway, so it's gonna need good power wash.
You can rub it when you get home.
I will rub it, and I will spend 2 hours washing my baby. And I use great products that I buy from Amazon. All the links are below. You can. I highly recommend hand wash your Tesla. You don't want any pebbles or any kinds of harmful things from regular car washes. They are evil. Okay, so you do that. So I have all my products. I use great products, and it gives me also great pleasure, great therapy. So what did we do in Quebec? We went to great scenic drives, right? It was really, and we went to this amazing canyon. The name is, escapes me.
Canyon St. Anne.
Canyon St. Anne. We saw some waterfall and some bear poop and lots of bear poop. And I also was hanging out with a moose, very nice moose. He said hello to me. And then we went to a beautiful town called, I forget everything.
Bay St. Paul.
Bay St. Paul. We had amazing lunch and walk there. Highly recommend, right on the river. It's really great stuff. And last night, half of Quebec was blocked for traffic, and they had great musical festival. 1.5 million people, but everybody's orderly, and it's great. It's just great the way they organize things. No, everybody just had fun without any ruckus. All right, so we are on our way to where are we going? To Burlington, Vermont, and we're gonna bring you some films from there, and you're gonna love it. And I can tell you something about this Tesla. Stay until the end of this video, because I'm going to give you the final numbers of all of our trip, numbers and miles and all that stuff. I can tell you that even though, you know, we've been traveling with this Tesla, this is our 8th trip, I can tell you that this trip, since the last update, is significantly more pleasurable and more efficient than everybody else, because this car got an upgrade for 2 things: range, 15 miles more, and charging speed. I show you the video in the first part of this trip. I'll put the clip right now of how fast this car is charging. And the key is to put the destination. So when you go into a supercharger, the Tesla precondition the battery, and when you go in the first 10 minutes or so, you get 145 kilowatt of charge, which averages to about 1,000 kilometers per hour, about 500-ish miles or so. You will not spend more than 10-15 minutes to go to your next. So now we're going to drive, like I said, 212 miles. You know, by the time there's a supercharger right by the hotel where we go. By the time we finish charging, you know, coffee, bathroom, and whatever, the car is ready, and that eliminates A, range anxiety, B, wait time. There's no more wait time like that. You have to wait for 40 minutes, an hour for the car to charge. It's now just like driving a regular inefficient gasoline car. See you in Burlington, guys. We are getting closer to our destination in South Burlington. Supercharger is where our hotel is, actually right next to. So we're going to charge there. In this leg we drove 212 miles, 53 kilowatt hour, and used 249 watt hour per mile, which is what we've been averaging so far. And so far we drove 894.5 miles, 223 kilowatt hour of battery, and again 249. See, we're very consistent. So we have 60 miles left in the battery, and like I said, we drove 212 miles, and the battery was charged to 299. Okay, so if you add 212 and 60, that's 289. So it's really, we needed 10 more miles, you know, just to reach the same destination. It's very high percentage of efficiency. We're going to measure the charging rate in Burlington, and we'll take it from there. I finished charging at the supercharger. One thing I want to show you, it just happened to me, especially when you need good charging, is not to park next to somebody and then share the same thing with him. So when I came here, I went to this charger, 1A. See, it says 1A. And then there was a guy here, and I didn't know that he's sharing this one. So I start charging, and I just only got 110 speed. See, is 1B. So 1B was not good. He left already. I moved over to this spot right here where I am now at 2A, and then the charging speed went to 147, 48, something like that, and that's why we finished so fast. So when you supercharge, make sure you don't share. Now 1A can be here and 1B can be on the other side. That happens also in some superchargers. They're usually one next to the other, but that's not necessarily the case all the time. So just watch that you are not A or B with somebody, that you're all by yourself, so you get the full speed that you need. All right, we are going to be on our way. We are at the Ben & Jerry factory in Vermont County, Waterbury, Vermont, and this is the guest parking lot. And look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a fast EVgo charger. I think it's a Chatamo, I think. So awesome stuff in. And we found so many. Oh, what you got in your hand?
It's a choco croissant for you that's getting chocolate all over.
Oh, sorry, honey. Love you. Anyway, so how do you like the public charging situation, honey?
In Vermont, I have to say, it's pretty impressive. Every
Yeah.
place we've been so far.
Absolutely.
Has
That's
a
the way it
charger.
should be. Okay, I'm going to have some ice cream. You scream, we all scream for ice cream. Leaving the Ben & Jerry factory was so much fun and yummy. We saw the factory, we had some ice cream and all that stuff, and now, and we also charged. They have a charger, they have how many I say, 8 chargers, I believe. They have chargers right there. Another Tesla just pulled in before, and we got like we were there for like an hour or so. Got like about 40 miles or 50 miles. It's great stuff. So now we are going to Bath, not Beth, that would be her, Bath, like I'm taking a bath.
But we're not going to take it back.
We're not taking a bath. Bath, New Hampshire, to take some scenic route, and then we'll go to Portland in Maine. We're going to New Hampshire now?
Yes, we're going to New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Oh, nice. We're going to be in another state. So Bath, New Hampshire, and then Portland, Maine. Okay, and we'll take it from there. Okay, guys, see you soon. Okay, guys, we are now about 1.5 miles from our, how do you pronounce this?
Canamungus Highway.
You know, how you Lincoln Supercharger. Yes, we are Lincoln Supercharger. So since last time we charged, we drove 75.2 miles, 17 kilowatt, 221 watt-hour, because we were going down the hills. And from the beginning of the trip, we are now 1,005 miles, 249 kilowatt hour of electricity, and then 248 watt hours per mile. All right, so we're going to be the Supercharger for about 20 minutes or so. And then we are going to continue to Portland, Maine. All right, so I can tell you one thing. We drove in the most obscure road. This car and the Supercharging network made it possible to drive anywhere ever, not just highways and get off the road. We drove in the most scenic routes.
Look at this.
Look at this. Show that mounting on it after the thing, yeah. We drove in this most scenic route, most, remote places. We went down to the brook. It was a beautiful brook. We went down to the brook and saw some campers, hunters, gatherers, you name it. All right, see you at the Supercharger, and then we'll continue to. Just left the Supercharger in Lincoln, New Hampshire. It's really a town literally in the middle of nowhere between all these beautiful mountains. I'm going to talk a lot about it at the end. Stay to the end of the video about how great it is to travel with a Tesla Model 3 anywhere, really anywhere. So we are, what road are we on, honey?
We are on the Canamungus Highway outside of the White Mountains on our way to
Portland. And it's a beautiful scenic route.
Yes.
Lots of brooks and lakes.
And some waterfalls.
Waterfalls. It's really, if you love outdoors and nature like we do, this is really, really a great route. It goes around, and around. Show the map. Show them. Keep going. There you go. It's really, really pretty. Really pretty. So it's awesome stuff. So we have 94 miles to get to Portland. It's going to take us 2 hours and 10 minutes because it's a beautiful scenic route. We're gonna make some stops. It's like some parts is like 50 miles an hour thing. So very nice place to be, really breathtaking. Okay, see you somewhere in the middle of nowhere. All right, our last day of the trip, honey. What mean what? Our last full day of the trip. Tomorrow we're going to be driving back home. So far we drove 1,106 miles. We are in Portland, Maine, and we decided to go visit the coastline. And we are going to Sands. Don't tell me. Sands, York. No. Tell me.
Why don't you let me say it?
Go ahead, honey.
Long Sands Beach in York, Maine.
I knew that. Long Sands Beach in York, Maine. I suck. I don't remember anything. Okay, so it's like a 43-mile drive. We also consumed so far 268 kilowatt hour of battery, and we are now averaging 243 watt hours per mile, a little less than at the beginning. I'm gonna do a separate video later on about the whole Tesla long-range experience and how is it so different than last year. So we're gonna get to the beach, take some photos, do some videos, and tomorrow morning we're gonna go ahead back to New Jersey, and that's where we're gonna find out all the final numbers and everything else. And hopefully you stay with us. We're gonna bring you some nice videos from the beach and tonight and all that. So don't nobody go nowhere. We are at the Longsaid Beach in York, Maine. It's a beautiful day. We just got here. We parked the car at this lady's house for 20 bucks. Great business.
Selling her lawn.
Sending her American entrepreneurship. I love it. Look at this beautiful beach.
The sand is so flat. You can
the
go
sand
for a
is
walk.
flat,
It's like a
yeah.
sidewalk.
Yeah, you can wear flip-flop and go on a walk. It's really beautiful. We charged the car in Kennebunkport. 100 miles of charge quickly. We're gonna stay on the beach, eat some lunch, then get some ice cream. We are now at Walker's Point behind me. That's George Herbert Walker home and George W. Bush. The Bushes, they come here in the summer. Tesla brought us up here with absolutely no issues, no problems. That's the beauty of supercharging and electric drive. Now you can go everywhere you want. It's really a breathtaking place. This place here in Maine, especially in the summer. Look at the rocks of the beach throughout the coastline. There's rocks, these huge boulders that form the beach the way it looks now. Okay, we're gonna go back to Portland, and then tomorrow morning we will head back to New Jersey. So I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay guys, here's the conclusion of this trip. We have driven 1,223 miles so far. We have about 350 more miles to go to get back home. We are leaving Portland, Maine, and we are going to have 2 supercharging stops. One in Kennebunkport. Our battery is low, down to 146 miles. We're going to be there. It's just a 25-mile ride. And then from there, we're going to stop again in Manchester, Connecticut for another charge. I'm going to show you some videos of each stop. And then we'll get home. I'm going to put the stickers of the entire trip. So it's going to be about 12,500 plus miles. And we spend around 240 watt hours per mile, which is not bad at all, considering the really hot, so we had to use the climate control. But I can tell you this trip compared to other trips, it was less stops, it was shorter time in each stop because of the extended range of this car, and of course, and the 145 kilowatt charging speeds. Those are big difference. and of course the autopilot, which makes the drive much pleasure. And now I'm going to turn it to my wife, and she's going to give you a trip advisor for our major stops. And we're going to start. I'm going to hand you the microphone, my dear, and then you're going to talk about the best places for my fans if they want to take their loved one to a trip. So let's start with Quebec.
Travel and electric car advice.
Yes.
You really provide it all, don't you?
We have to give full service to our customer.
So yeah, we love Quebec City. It's a beautiful, beautiful city, and you really feel like you're in a foreign country. Everybody speaks French, and the food is delicious, and there's lots of things to see. And there's an electric charger right outside the city, very convenient. And so there was that, and then we did do a lot of driving, as Moshe said. Vermont and New Hampshire are wonderful. It's really mostly the outdoor stuff. The White Mountain National Forest, and we would like to have done things around Lake Champlain, which is in that area of Vermont, but we did not, so we'll save that for next time. And then over here to Maine, where we've never been, and we really Portland, the city, we could take it or leave it. But the beaches were just beautiful. We did that all yesterday, and we definitely would love to come back to the beaches. And also just the natural beauty of Maine. So these states to us is more, it's not really about sightseeing as far as like seeing sights, but it's all nature and being, being out in the in the forests and the areas and the beaches and all that. So we, we definitely would come back and bring our sons. And also just wanted to say, as a passenger, certainly, the Florida trip and this much, and it's a different trip anyway. I understand it's much longer to Florida, but yes, the stops were, really nothing and short.
Do you feel any range anxiety, compromise?
No range anxiety. We didn't know compromises to be made. So
I think we'll have the same stops if we drove a gasoline car.
That's what I'm saying. It just felt like it was time to stop anyway. Go to the bathroom, whatever. So, and then sometimes I like it that it brings us to places we wouldn't normally go, that you get to see. Like, we never would have stopped in that Lincoln, New Hampshire, so it was nice to see. Sometimes it's, you're finding places you wouldn't normally go. So, all in all, great trip, and sorry we have to go home, but all the good things must come to an end.
Okay, guys, thank you, my dear, and we'll see you next time in another trip. All right, bye, guys.